All right, good evening, my YouTube friends and family. It's getting dark out here, so we're trying to get this done before it gets totally dark. But I'm doing something a little bit new today. Addison, I know y'all have heard me mention her in previous videos when she has sent me that text that was the prayer that meant so much, and then how I had her on the phone with the young man Sean who played football for Alabama because Addy is the sports star. She was the MVP for her soccer team last year as not even in high school yet. She was in 8th grade and was the MVP for the year. Scored 13 goals for the year and had at least 2 to 3 times as many assists on goals as she did. So today I want to change things up a little bit, do something brand new and a little shake and bake. But I always like to remain, focused around God, because in our family, God is, He's everything to us. He's our faith. He's our reason. He's our reason for the season. And so, how I want to change this up, and this is not rehearsed, unfortunately, so you may see some hiccups because we don't rehearse. The creatures just go at it. We just do it and let it fly, baby. So anyway, I've asked her to go over her favorite Bible verse with me, and I'm going to interview her kind of like that. So Addison, say hello to everybody.
Hi.
And if you would, go ahead and tell our YouTubers what's your favorite Bible verse, please.
I have a lot, but my favorite is, even when I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no danger because you're with me. Your rod and your staff, they protect me.
And that is which one? So let them know.
Psalm 23:4.
So Psalm 23:4. I'll read it one more time, a little bit slower this time, please.
Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no danger because you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they protect me. Psalms 23:4.
Okay, so why is that your favorite verse? What is it saying to you personally?
It just means, like, even whenever you're going through everything else and you have no one to turn to, you always have God, and He's always with you, and everything He does protects you. So even like if you get injured in sports or anything like stops you from playing sports, He's always with you.
Very good, very good. So again, is this something that you've used over time in playing sports, and to get past the times when you have been injured or whatever has worked for you? So one of the things I know, I had Sean, the guy that played football for Alabama, and you know your sports. You're very educated on football and baseball, and you name it. Addy knows a little bit about everything. What are your goals as far as where you see yourself going with sports? You're a rising freshman in high school, and so tell us a little bit about what's your plans.
I think I want to play college soccer, and then probably go into something with sports, like whether it's physical therapy with sports, or like just, I don't know, being on the sidelines of a football field, anything along those lines. But
in playing sports, and you excel at every sport you've ever played, and soccer, and we'll just talk about that because that's the one you focused on most. And what do you love about soccer and the fact that you excel so good? What does it do for you?
Like, because we usually have our soccer games after school, so like even if like it's a rough day at school or something like that, I just know that I get to walk on the field and just play the best I can play. And then I'm with like my teammates and stuff like that, and they just help me be who I am, I guess. That's probably
good. That'd be a good answer for a young lady, again, who's a rising freshman in high school, and no telling where she's going in sports. I mean, they had other high school coaches come up to her after games of the opposing team, and I don't want to say they tried to recruit her, but they wouldn't have mind her playing for their team on a few occasions. So going into a freshman year, you got the MVP for the year last year, and had the most goals, more than anybody on soccer, JV or varsity. So how do you improve on that?
I think probably just because I know I made a few mistakes this year with like shooting and stuff like that. So probably just improving, practicing more, going to the gym more to improve like my leg strength, so that I can just and working more well with like chemistry with like the other players, because I know there were times where we could have communicated better to continue to keep up more goals.
And as you continue on through, I'm sure you're going to be recognized by other college programs as good as you've been. Where do you plan on, if you could choose any college to carry on your career in soccer, where would that be?
See, for a while it was South Carolina, but
And why South Carolina?
because I wanted to see you and his dad see me play there, because I know how big of fans that they are. But then for a few years, like it's either there or Georgia, because I'm a huge Georgia fan. Ask anyone that, they'll tell you.
And this is not easy being a Gamecock fan and my daughter being a Georgia fan. Now, what I will give her is this. When I say she's a Georgia fan, she knows every offensive player on the football team, every defensive player. So I don't mind that she is actually a fan of Georgia, because she keeps up with it. She knows the players. She knows her stuff. So very impressed about her knowledge on sports.
And I remember, this is like one random memory, is that whenever you were in the hospital with COVID, they played the Gamecocks, and I called you just to tell you that my team won, and that I named the player that scored off a pick six, and I was very loving to brag about that.
Yeah, loving while Dad's in the hospital dying with COVID.
Yeah.
Very loving with that. So now, I love that you have your favorite Bible verse. To me, knowing that how our family feels about God and our faith, and the fact that you actually have a favorite Bible verse, that means more to me than anything on the soccer field ever could. And that says a lot, because there's nothing more than I love watching you succeed in athletics. But as your faith with God, how are you taking that to the next level like you do in sports? How are you taking your faith to the next level?
That's actually a really good question. Well, so I remember I just got back a few weeks ago from a trip at the beach with his sister, and while I was there, I was like on my phone, and I was going through like Bible verses, and there's this app on my phone that I read every night, and it's a Bible verse, and so I started one about like anxiety, because that was a big thing that held me back from playing in 7th grade soccer, and every night now I'll read a devotional, and then a Bible verse and something like that, and we went fishing, and the only thing I could think about the whole time was how grateful I was to be able to see the things I saw fishing, and being just so grateful that I was out there and getting to see the stuff I did. So
an attitude of gratitude.
Attitude of gratitude.
At 14 years old, God, you know how happy that makes me as a dad to have a 14-year-old that has an attitude of gratitude, to be able to appreciate being out there on the ocean and seeing everything God's created and appreciating that. That is unbelievable. This was not rehearsed. I did not know that was coming, but that almost brings me to tears, because that's what one of my biggest things is the attitude of gratitude. Because again, you're never going to get more in life if you're not already grateful for what you have. Exactly. And so that's what I try to think. We've had a tough year and a half with our family, what we've gone through with the COVID and everything. I would say we've all stayed very grateful for what God's done for us. Sure. We're grateful that our family has stayed together. We're grateful that we got food on the table. We're grateful that we have a house to live in. We just stay grateful as a family. And when your daughters, you can hear them say that, that means we've done something right as parents. So I guess, what I'd like to, one more thing I want to ask you in closing that. So we've discussed, where you're going in soccer, where you're going with your faith and how it's growing. You're like a 4.0 student, was I correct with that? Mm-hmm. I don't think you made less than an A last year, am I correct?
I made all the hundreds on my exams except for one, which was a special exam, and I got a 98 on it.
So, I mean, when I'm talking being successful, it's not only in God and sports, but in academics as well, and that's also unbelievable. But so, academically, any goals that you'd like to say real quick on what you're going to do with that?
Like there's nothing specific goals wise there, but like every year I just make sure before I do anything it's always about school, because education is like one of the most important things to me, because I know without education, you know, you have nothing. So I just try my best to study before a test and do everything I can to prepare, because I know they're not easy. Those tests are not easy.
And without an education, you don't have anything to fall back on.
Exactly. And
So if you were to get injured in sports and something like that. So again, guys and girls, I've got $4. Count them 4. I love each and every one of them. They are my heart and soul, my queens, as you've heard me call. This is my youngest one, Addison. I guess she's like the only one that would do this with me. The other ones, told Dad to take a hike. Well, not really what they said, but we won't say that on the air. But I mean, I think y'all can see what a proud dad I am for this right here, and I'm hoping that when reading Psalms, that was her 23:4 was her favorite verse. You see in her faith what she wants to do academically and how well she succeeds academically and how she succeeds athletically as well. So I'm very happy to have such a well-rounded young lady at 14, and it's only getting better. So thoughts are, like I tell you, thoughts are things. This is one that believes that with me, that we can manifest our future, that we can, where we keep our thoughts is what we're going to create our life, and that's how she's created such success on the soccer field, because we go out and practice. Lots of practice on the soccer field, and we work out at the gym together. So she doesn't get this good by accident. She puts a lot of time and a lot of effort into it. So again, thoughts are things, and we think of what we want to do to get her to the next level, and we got a laid out plan, and that's what we follow. So even though this video was not laid out, her life is laid out, and she's going to succeed first and foremost in her faith, because that's what we put number 1. Number 2 is her academics, and that's why she's like a 4.0 student. But again, she was the MVP for the year for her soccer team with 13 goals. So, guys and girls, when I'm preaching this about thoughts or things and being the best and keeping our faith up there, this isn't just for me. This is in my girls as well. And I preach this, and they take hold of it and run with it. So thank y'all for being involved. Thank y'all for letting Addison, for coming in and being my little guest today. And in closing, I always like to say, I love you. God loves you.
Be good.
Be good.